Hello everyone! This video is the last of my videos on modals. This time I'm going to talk to you about modals we use for possibility and logical conclusions in the present, past, and future. This time I'm going to show you how to do this in the present and future first, and then I'll cover the way we talk about this in the past. There are several modals we use to talk about possibility and logical conclusions, so let's get started and you'll see what I mean. I'll start off by showing you a chart about how we make sentences using modals to show possibility in the present and future. This is what those sentences look like. I'll start with the way we talk about things that we're not so sure about in the present and future. In this case, we use could or could not, may or may not, might or might not. Using could, we might say, the exam could last 2 hours. I'm not sure. This is one way to use could. Using may, it may rain. The sky looks a bit gray. Let's take an umbrella just in case. If you thought that could and may are used to give permission, sorry, you were mistaken. We can use them also to talk about possibility. What can we do with might? Well, we can say, you might have to wait until the fall to take Spanish. Ask the professor. And we can also say, he might not be well today, so he may not come. These are sentences that talk about things that we're not certain about. But what if we are? What if we're really sure about something in the present or the future? In that case, we can use couldn't or can't. I'll show you. That couldn't be Jason over there. Jason is much taller. Can you see that I'm sure I'm right, but maybe there's a 1% chance I'm wrong? It sounds almost like I'm trying to convince myself about something. Let's look at some more. That can't be Fatima. Fatima wears a hijab. Maybe I just saw someone in the mall who looks so much like my friend Fatima, but she's not wearing a hijab. My friend Fatima always wears a hijab. I'm confused. It just can't be my friend. Okay, let's have a look at the rules and some more examples. Rule number 1. Modals can be used to express possibility about something happening now or in the future. Could, may, and might express the possibility that something will happen or that something's true. For example, the storm may change its path. It might go south, not east. May not and might not can be used to talk about the possibility that something will not happen or is not true. For instance, Donna may not go to work today. She wasn't feeling well yesterday. And couldn't and can't are used when we want to talk about something that we're certain about or something that definitely isn't true. Here's an example. It couldn't be a bird. It doesn't have feathers. An example of can't be. She won the lottery? You can't be serious. Okay, rule number 2. Do not use contractions with may not or might not. It's not done. So we can say, I may not finish this video by Thursday, but we can't say, I mayn't finish this video by Thursday. We just don't do it. That's all I can say about that. And rule number 3 is use could for possibilities. Do not use may or might. If I'm looking for my keys, for example, I could say, where could my keys be? They aren't in my purse. While I'm talking about the present and future, I'd like to introduce you to how we talk about logical conclusions. This is just how we talk about things we're almost certain about, but not 100%. First, I'll show you the form, what it looks like, and then I'll give you the rules. This is how we use modals to talk about logical conclusions. We see something and feel pretty certain of things that are happening now or in the future, so we use must or must not, or has to, or has got to. The got is optional. Here's some example sentences so you can see how this works. She just got a new car. She must be very happy. For most of us, being very happy is a logical conclusion to getting a new car. Another one is, Daniel must not know the address. He's looking it up online. We make the logical conclusion that since Daniel is looking up an address online, he must not know the address. See how that works? Let's try one more. That has to be, or has got to be, a package from my mother. It's my birthday and she never forgets. That's how mothers are, right? Okay, if you're wondering about that got and why you can use it but you don't have to, well, you can really say this with or without got. But with got, you're emphasizing what you're saying. So that has got to be is stronger than that has to be. But really, either way is fine. Let's continue with the rules. Rule number 1. A logical conclusion is a judgment that we come to based on knowledge or evidence. We're almost 100% sure that the statement is true. It's logical to believe what we're saying. For example, James just got fired from his job. He must be upset. Of course James is upset. Well, unless he wanted to be fired from his job. I guess sometimes people are happy about getting fired, but not usually. Rule number 2. We use must, have to, and have got to in affirmative statements, which are just statements that are not negative, that are logical conclusions. Some example sentences are, my keys must be in my purse. I saw them there yesterday. My purse has to be on the table. I'm sure I left it there last night. And the electric bill has got to be wrong. Did you ever feel like that when you got your electric bill? I'm the daughter of an electrician who lived through the Great Depression. You can believe we were very careful about wasting electricity. So if I got a high electric bill, I might say something like, the electric bill has got to be wrong. Rule number 3. When we make negative statements with this kind of modal, we use must not, but we cannot use have to or have got to in the negative. So we can say, they must not be twins. They don't look at all alike. And that's the only way we can make a negative. Rule number 4. A logical conclusion modal is not used for a fact. If you want to state a fact, use a simple present or future form of the verb. You can use will or going to make it future. For example, the store is closed. There's no one there. Luis will come later. He texted me to let me know. So remember that a logical conclusion is not a fact. You're almost 100% sure, but not quite. A fact is 100%. We know it's true. Luis texted me and told me he was coming, so I know this to be true. As long as Luis doesn't have an accident on the way over, we'll see him later. Now, what if we need to use the progressive verb? We're going to look now at both possibility and logical conclusions in the progressive. The form for all of these is you have a modal with or without not plus some form of be. Remember, progressives always need be as an auxiliary verb. And then the base form of the verb plus ing. We have two ways of doing this depending on how certain we are that something's true. Either we're not certain about present or future events, or we're very certain about present or future events. If we're not so sure about present or future events, we're going to use may or may not, might or might not, or just could. Some examples of these are, Professor Yu may be giving an exam now. Her door is closed. And Susan might be meeting with her friends now. She has a break until noon. Or we could say, Jules could be coming by taxi. He usually prefers not to walk. Don't feel so bad about Jules. Maybe he has a hurt foot. Maybe he's not just lazy. Anyway, if we're very certain about our facts in the present or future, we're going to use can't, couldn't, or must not. For example, the teacher can't be holding office hours today. He didn't come to school. And they couldn't be shopping at the mall. It closed 30 minutes ago. And finally, Marco must be watching the game. He never misses the playoffs. Okay, that's what they look like. Here are the rules. Rule number 1. To express a possible continuing action in the present or future, use a modal plus the correct form of be plus the verb plus ing. For example, Dion might be talking with her husband on the phone. I saw her take a call just now. And Suki's team may be playing soccer tonight. She was wearing her uniform when she left. Rule number 2. This rule is about future plans. We can use may, might, or could. And then we have the be auxiliary verb plus the regular base verb plus ing. Some examples. Abdulia may be moving soon. She applied for a new job far away. And Jacob might not be taking statistics next semester. He didn't do well on his exam last week. This is so sad, but it happens. Jacob better start studying his math more. Okay, rule number 3. When we want to talk about something that's very likely in the present or future, we're going to use must plus be plus verb plus ing. Some examples. Simone Biles must be feeling really great. She has won so many medals. I've got to tell you, I love this young woman. If you're not a fan of gymnastics, you should still watch Simone doing her routines. I watch them over and over because it's such an amazing thing to watch. Not only are her moves incredible, but I love to see her confidence. We should all have that kind of confidence in something. The world would be a better place. Okay, another example is, Alan must be graduating next month. He's finished all his courses and passed his tests. Good for Alan. Rule number 4. Yeah, there's another rule. I know English has a lot of rules. So, rule number 4. To express certainty that an action is not taking place, we use can or couldn't plus be plus the verb plus ing. An example? Hector can't be driving to the party. His car's in front of my house. Okay, maybe he could be driving someone else's car, but let's pretend that's not possible. Okay, I've covered all the modals and how we use them for possibilities and logical conclusions in the present and future. I could spend about this much more time talking about how we do it in the past, but I'm really afraid you might fall asleep before I could finish it. I'm afraid I might fall asleep. So I'm going to do a shortcut for you. If I lose you and you get confused, please write to me and I'll clear up the misunderstandings. Here goes. I'll try to be clear and brief if that's possible. Possibilities. Possibilities in the past. We have our modal plus not, if we need to make it negative, plus have, plus the past participle. The modals we use for this are may or may not. For example, Charlie may have done the painting, I'm not sure. And might or might not. Leslie might have gotten sick. She left the party early. And could or couldn't. And Mr. Burns couldn't have stolen the money. He was on vacation in another state. Here's some notes about possibility in the past. First, we use may or may not have, might or might not have, and could have to talk about when it's possible that something happened in the past. We can also use could have to talk about something that was possible but didn't happen. We can use could have when the speaker believes that the past action wasn't possible, and we can use it to ask questions about possibility. Like if I say, could I have ordered the wrong size? This dress doesn't fit. But we can't use may in questions, and we rarely use might. Okay, next, logical conclusions in the past. We're going to use the subject plus must or must not plus have plus the past participle. Tim must not have heard the question. He didn't answer. You can also use had to have plus the past participle, like this. Anna had to have taken a lot of music lessons. She sings beautifully. Anna's my daughter, and I know she's taken a lot of music lessons, and she does sing beautifully. Next, I'm going to skip the progressives. Just add be and ing and use could or may or must. It's about drawing conclusions, and it looks like this. Lucy might have been studying in the library last night. She loves the peace and quiet there. And Sarah must have been baking yesterday. I could smell fresh bread when I got home from work. Sarah could be my roommate. And that's the end of my lessons on modals. Woohoo! I knew this last one would be a long one. I hope you stayed with me, but then you can always take a break in the middle of a long lesson and get a snack. I'm going to begin my lessons on conditionals as soon as I get this video up, and I'm going to cover zero conditionals, first, second, and third conditionals, and even mixed conditionals. I'm going to try to get that done in 4 videos. I think I can. So if you're not sure about those conditionals, you know where to find the information. Take care, everyone, and thank you for viewing my video. If these videos are helpful for you, please share them with others, anybody you know who might need them. If you haven't visited my website, or if you have, but you didn't find what you were expecting, you might want to take about 10 minutes to watch my new introductory video where I give a tour of my website. It's on YouTube and Facebook. Have a great day, and remember to be kind to each other. I'll see you soon.